This is Dr. Anastasia Chopelas, and today what I'm going to talk about is two common mistakes that people make when they're starting their coaching or healing practice or business. So, what do I mean by the two common mistakes? And a lot of experienced practitioners actually do this too. So, the first most common mistake is taking on that energy from your healing client. There are some clients that you will empathize with or sympathize with, and when you're working with them, either energetically or intuitively or as a life coach, what will happen is that after you work with them, you'll feel completely drained and tired. And a lot of coaches and healers that I've spoken to can only handle one or two clients a day because it's so exhausting for them. Even got a message the other day. I had an appointment with a healer friend of mine, and she said, Anastasia, I just can't talk today. I just had a very exhausting session with someone. So, even people that are experienced and have been doing this for a long time end up taking away that thing. So, in other words, taking away that low energy feeling, because we are people that help, and what we want to do is make people feel better. And we think by taking on their burden that you'll be able to do that, and they'll feel temporarily good, and you'll feel temporarily bad. So you'll have to take some time off. So how to avoid that? So the first step in avoiding that is actually looking at how you approach that particular client. I know that there are some clients that are very tiring. I have some that will call and text me often, and I'll be busy and won't be able to handle it. And then they'll call me in the middle of the day, and after about 3 or 4 times, I'll finally pick up, and then it's a series of complaints. So it's kind of like that. You can get a lot of people like that. And so the first question to ask yourself is, what are you doing to attract that kind of client? So I don't get those anymore. I used to in the very beginning. I would have them, and what I did was I tried to distract them by asking them questions about, what do you really love to do? Like, if you could wave your magic wand, what would you really love to be doing right now? Like taking a walk along the beach, or going up a mountain trail, or, sitting in your backyard, sipping something cool on a warm day. Whatever it is, I would just try to distract them from going down the litany of complaints that really draw you. And what happens is that if you don't have the correct protective devices in place for you energetically, or learn how to keep them clear of you, you can really end up really drained and tired, and even get sick from working with too many clients. So that's number one that I see. And one of the things that I teach my students now is to cut cords. And when you're having a conversation that's kind of difficult, you can cut cords like this, and that's kind of obvious. But you can also run your hands in front of your solar plexus, where most of the energy drainage comes from, and you can just cut them and just imagine all of that going down. And a lot of people won't even ask you what that is. One of my coaches that taught me this said that in the 30 years that she's been doing this, she said only one person asked her, what are you doing there? And she was just moving her hands ever so gently in front of her like this. So that's one tip. And one of my students said that she just started doing that after every phone conversation she is in sales. So sales is a really difficult job, and she's on the phone all day long. And after every phone conversation, Jesus clips all the cords, let it all drop away, and she feels really good afterwards. So that's there are many, many, many more tips, and in particular, raising your frequency up. So, for example, if you sit up straight and pull your shoulders back and take a nice deep breath in, you'll feel way better. You're raising your frequency as you're doing that, and the higher your frequency is, the better you feel. And what we do is we tend to empathize with our clients because we want them to feel good, and we'll take on their pain or take on their sorrow and things like that. And that's not our job. We will not be able to help as many people. You can't help as many people when you let yourself get drained like that. The easiest way is to step back and to start cutting cords while listening in the view of helping that person. So that's the number one mistake. The number two mistake that I see healers making, and I've heard this complaint from them many times, and I've also been approached with this. The number two problem that a lot of healers do is that they don't charge enough for their services, or they give it away for free. Okay, so here's the conundrum, right? We want to help as many people as possible. And people will come and tell us, well, it's a gift what you do, therefore you should be giving it away. Well, genius is also a gift, but if you don't go to school and learn the things that you need to learn to be able to use that genius mind of yours, then it's right? If you need to spend time, and you invest time, invest effort, invest in, let's say, a doctor. Let's say you have a doctor who's a genius, and he's a surgical genius, for example. Would you ever go to him and say, look, you were born a genius and you got all these gifts, so you have to perform surgery on me for free? That's not going to happen. And it's likewise with us. I went to many healing schools. I've been learning continuously for the last 25 years about how to do healing, whether it's nutrition, whether it's working with the energy systems in the body, whether it's some sort of psychological talk therapy. It doesn't matter. I've been learning these for many years. So why would I give that away? So there's number one. And number two, the universe loves an energy balance. The universe in the energy in the entire universe is constant, right? So if you give your energy away, you need to be able to take energy in. So if you haven't been charging enough and you do some energy work, then you'll find yourself tired because you've given out more energy than you've been able to take in. So, and the other thing that happens is that because not enough energy cycled, right, and you gave out a lot of energy and not enough came back in, what'll happen is that you will receive that energy back from that person, and that healing will kind of disappear after a few days. I did a lot of work with people who I felt very sorry for, and the strides that they made during that period of time, and this holds true for coaching as well. The strides that they make are few and far between, if at all, because in energy healing, it's like developing a new habit in the body. And if you are not invested in the results, so if they're not paying you enough and you're not invested in the result, not much happens. So the best results are obtained when the person who's paying you, and you can even charge differently depending on where they are, right? But I tend to keep my prices like within a very narrow range. But what'll happen is if they don't pay you if they don't have any skin in the game, let's say, then their body has no investment to change. So when I work with people, I ask them to listen to an audio. And I've had people listen to, it's just 10 minutes, 15 minutes a day. You can get it for free off of my website at scientifichealer.com. And this little audio, now a lot of people get it for free and they don't listen to it. But when they hire me and I tell them to listen to it, minimum of 3 times a week, 7 times a week would be good. You can listen to it first thing in the morning, or you can listen to it before you fall asleep at night, even if you fall asleep, right? Then they do it. I had one lady, she had a fibroid tumor and she wanted to be rid of it. She's in her mid-30s and she goes, it's just interfering with her life. And I gave her that audio, and within 2 months, everything was back to normal. The all the symptoms that she had from the tumor had disappeared because she paid for her didn't ask for much. She paid for the services. She listened to it every day, and she said it made a complete difference in her life. And when I spoke to her on the phone, she was like completely cheerful, like a completely different person. So when you're invested in it, when you have some investment in it, so that's the same thing with you. When you give somebody, okay, if you listen to this every day, it's really going to help you. And then they go, oh, well, I got it for free and it's no big deal. But some people actually do it, and then I get the feedback. They'll write me a note and saying, oh my God, that changed my life, right? And it's so simple, but people just simply won't do it unless they're invested in it. So when you have a healing or coaching practice and you give assignments to someone, and it's the same thing that happens over and over again, and many high-end coaches have told me the same thing. In one case, he scholarshipped somebody a $10,000 package, and it was for a week of learning how to do a particular thing. And at the end of the week, all the paying people ended up having 4 to 5 times the success than the one who was scholarshiped in. And the guy that was scholarshiped in was like all enthusiastic that he was there. But what happened is, because he had no skin in the game, and then in the end, he did not perform. In other words, all the other people actually made progress and got their things done, but the person who was scholarshiped in did not perform. And so if you look at it this way, and this was a $10,000 package, can you imagine if somebody says, look, I'm giving you my $10,000 package of schooling for free, if you just show up. And a lot of us will go, yeah, I'll come. And then you come and you're going, well, I got it for free. Well, let me see what this guy have to say. And I had no skin in the game, right? So that's how it really, really works, is that you have to have an exchange of energy. And the other thing that, and as a, 2A, in other words, a little bit of a side trip off of being paid enough, what the mistake that a lot of healers will also make, and coaches, is when they ask for one session. And I mean, really, to tell the truth, if somebody came up to you and said, look, I'm going to give you this diet and exercise plan, and you only have to follow it for one day, and you'll get your dream body and your dream health. Do you really think that that's a true statement? No. So why would someone come and say, I just want one session with you? It's one thing. I have some clients that come in and say, I need a tune-up, and they'll come after 3-4 months and they'll get a tune-up. That's different, because I worked with them for 5 or 6 or 10 weeks, or 3 months is typical. But your body is just like any habit, right? When you have a habit, it takes a minimum of 90 days for you to develop a new habit. That's like the new neural pathways, the training of your subconscious, the training of your nervous system. It's like learning how to drive a stick shift for the first time. At first, you have to think your way through, and then after a while, it becomes automatic. So you develop a new habit, right? So here we are, we're developing new habits. It's the same thing with energy. The energy has to flow properly, and you learn the old habits, energy habits, due to survival or events that happen in your life. And now we're rewriting all of that, and it takes more than one session. So instead, it's good to sell packages. And this is something else that I'm teaching in my classes. I have a certification program that I'm running right now and taking in clients on a rolling new students on a rolling basis. And in the first 2 weeks, a woman that had been doing something for free for years, she got her first paying client in the first 2 weeks of being in the program. So, in other words, her tuition is more than paid for itself by getting her first clients. And now she has a little package and she's going to get testimonials from all those people and get new clients that way, right? So, creating packages instead of one-off sessions is going to really help you stabilize your income. So to summarize, the first is to, when you're dealing with new clients or difficult clients, is to not take on their energy. And there are lots of different little energy techniques. If you check out my YouTube page, you'll find that there's lots of little tips on how to clean your energy field, how to center yourself and all of that. Doing all those little tricks really, really helps you. And number 2 is to not undercharge. Don't do it for free. You can tell them what you can do for free, and you can offer a couple of free 5-minute little things and say, ask them to sign up for packages. And one way to do it is say, okay, when I started, I said 1 session's $200, 5 sessions, $600. And all these people took the $600 deal, right? So that's a way also to entice them. So there's difficult clients, keeping your energy clear of them. And the second mistake is to not charge enough or to do one-off packages, and that keeps you always in the place of wanting. In other words, you have to go and find new clients and advertise and market, and it takes a lot to market to a new client. So there you have it. Those are the 2 things. Thank you for coming. Thank you for listening. I appreciate you. And for those of you that are really interested in developing a thriving healing practice, 6 figures and beyond, I managed in the first 4 months of my practice to move it up to 6 figures. So I have a few tricks up my sleeve. So thank you for listening. And when you're ready to have that appointment with me, go to scientifichealer.com/appointment, or to have to send me a message. I answer all of my messages. Go to scientifichealer.com/contact. And to learn more about the certification program, it's scientifichealer.com/energize me. And all the links are here below the video. If you like this video, hit the like button below or give it a 5-star rating, share it with your friends, and be sure to subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you in the next video.